Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pollock. Pollock Automotive in Vancouver, serving Vancouver for over 38 years, repairing all makes and models of vehicles. 18-time winners of Best Auto Repair in Vancouver. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well.
So we're going to talk about a 2010 BMW X3. There was a front brake problem. What was going on with this car?
Our client brought the vehicle in for a scheduled maintenance service, a B service, which is essentially an oil change and a full vehicle inspection and service. And as we do in our services, we look at the brakes, measure the brakes out. The front pads were down to 3 millimeters, which is pretty near worn out. So that's what was going on with this vehicle.
So can someone still safely drive with a vehicle that's got 3 millimeters on the brake pads?
Absolutely. You can still continue to drive. I mean, 3 millimeters means there's still 3 millimeters of brake pad left. However, once you're down around 2 to 3, that's considered worn out by most manufacturers. I mean, you can drive it down to right down to metal on metal if you want, but of course at that point things start getting hot. Rotors get damaged immediately. Calipers can be damaged, so it's best not to do it. Plus, you start to lose on your stopping ability. So brakes stop a lot better. When these vehicles are new, the brake pads are in around 10 to 12 millimeters. So 3 mils is about, I mean, less than a quarter of the brake pad left. So just the other thing too, of course, is time management. BMWs don't need service all that often. So you think, okay, the car's in for service. You've taken time out of your schedule to bring your car and to have it fixed. Why book another appointment, a couple of months down the road to have the brakes done when they're pretty much worn out? Just get it all handled. Now, you're free to choose what you want to do, but if you're managing your time wisely, it's better to have everything done at one time and then just drive the car for a while. So let's just have a look at a couple of photos here. There's our 2010 BMW X3, nice little sport utility vehicle, and our front brakes. Oh, where's our brakes? Stop the sharing. If you look at the video, we'll make sure we include the photo of the front brake pads and rotors. One thing, I'll explain the photo. There's a brand new, nice, fresh brake rotor. You can see the pads with some orange lubricant painted in certain spots around the calipers, which we can talk about.
So do you always replace rotors with the pads?
Well, on European cars, absolutely. What happens is, for some reason, the pads are very hard on European cars, and the rotors are made of a softer material. And as the pads wear out, the rotors develop very deep grooves. So when you actually measure the rotor, they're usually right down to the minimum wear spec. But even on any other make and model of car, usually rotors are replaced at the same time. They last a long time these days, and by the time they get to the pads worn out, there are usually some grooves in the rotors or rusted edges. Can they be machined? Yes. Is it worth it? Usually not, because once you machine a layer off, then the rotor becomes thinner and it tends to warp easier. So unless it's in extreme circumstances, the odd time we'll machine rotors, but 99% of the time they get done new, the job's done properly, everything works fine.
So you've mentioned a few different pieces in the car, like the calipers. What are the calipers, and did you replace those on this vehicle?
They don't need to be replaced all that often. In this case, the calipers were fine. What we normally do is inspect the brake calipers. So we retract the piston. Does it move back in smoothly? Are the dust seals ripped? If they're not, then generally, if it moves in freely, the dust seals are okay. And then the slider pins are not enormously hideously seized, because sometimes they can get so badly rusted and seized, they're not reusable. But assuming all those things are good, in the case of this BMW, it was, we reuse the caliper.
I'm assuming that this can be, if you took a certain amount of miles, say 10,000 miles or 100,000 miles or whatever the number is, and compare different vehicles, they're all going to have different states of rust, of seizing, of all kinds of issues, depending on the manufacturer. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I mean, brakes wear at a different rate. And it depends on where you drive too. I mean, if you're only driving in the desert of Arizona, rusting isn't going to be that big of an issue. But if you're anywhere where there's moisture, especially where there's road salt, that really accelerates the pace of rust damage on brakes enormously. But again, if you live like close to the ocean too, where there's like sea spray, I mean, that kind of thing can also affect the life of brakes. I mean, like a brake rotor is a bare piece of metal, so there's it's very prone to rusting. And of course, if it gets rusty, then it wears the pads out too. The regular service on caliper sliders is actually a good thing to do, like every, say, 24,000 kilometers, which is what miles, I don't know, 16, 18,000 miles, somewhere in that range. It's a good idea to, every couple of years, to do a service on your brakes. If some brakes do last a long time, some vehicles you get over 100,000 kilometers, maybe 150,000 kilometers on a set of pads and rotors. So doing a regular service is a good idea, because if the caliper seize up, the pads will wear a lot quicker, and then you'll end up having to do, it's a little more work to do the services, but you end up not having to replace the parts as often, so it's cheaper in the long run.
Any further comments on the BMW X3?
No, it's a nice little sport utility vehicle. I mean, say compared to a Lexus RX model, which is kind of equivalent. I mean, it's a little less reliable. There's a few more things that are going to go wrong with it, but things like oil leaks and those kind of things. But other than that, it's a great vehicle.
So there you go. If you're looking for service for your BMW in Vancouver, the guys to see are Pollock Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112, or check out our website, pollockautomotive.com, or our YouTube channel, Pollock Automotive Repair. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.